What's up, core reporters? Welcome back to my channel. I was meaning to shoot this recap for you yesterday, but I was hungover. I went out with my friend yesterday. Well, no, sorry, on Friday. And all we did was we had a chicken Caesar salad. We had fries on the side. We split a bottle of rosé. And then we had one glass of margarita each. And somehow I was hungover beyond belief yesterday. It was crazy to me. I'm still convinced that the restaurant owner or the bartender, sorry, like doubled our margaritas, and that's why I was so hungover. It was so bad. So sorry about that, but let's get into this recap. And yes, I will say I digress a bit less in this video. I was just a little bit nervous last time, but I digress. Okay, you guys, let's kick it off. So Jackie and Josh, the trifling twosome, they are still at that coffee shop while Marshall is in the suit shop trying to, figure out what to do. He's about to leave to go back home and whatnot. And Jackie seems very receptive to Josh's declaration of love. She's sitting there giggling with him like she doesn't have a whole ass fiance, talking about Josh makes her nipples hard. And I'm like, girl, like that is so grimy. I really can't support this full-blown cheating on your man on camera, especially. Like, why would you do this? It makes you look like you are a really poor character, like just a horrible person. She says that she's terrible with her emotions and that her actions speak louder than her words. Okay, well, what does cheating say about you, girl? All right, if your actions speak louder than your words. Come on, like she knew this man was in love with her. Like he talked about it 2 episodes prior, and that is why she went out to meet with him. So like the whole thing is just dirty. She tells Josh that Marshall is too sensitive for her. And I believe she's saying that because Marshall is emotionally available and mature, and she's not. She can't rise up to meet him there. So she is going to speak down on him. And really, Marshall's emotional. Who's the one who's been having meltdowns left, right, and center, Jackie? Not Marshall. It's been you. Every time. Oh my God, we're going to have to return home, blah, 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 to that shit. Then there was a time that like his family was going to come over. She had another meltdown. Who's emotional, Jackie? Really? Really? Be for real. Oh my God, I can't with this woman. I really don't like her. I try to. But remember, if you watch my kind of like blind reaction to just their bios, I already said this girl, she's not going to be a good match. Like she already, like when she spoke about herself, she talks about how she turns people off with like her kind of abrasive personality. I'm like, yeah, this is not going to be a good girl for the show. And it turns out that I was right. She complains about Marshall leaving for 3 days when she told him to be more aggressive and to boss up. And I will say that that wasn't appropriate for Marshall to leave for a full 3 days rather than discuss it with her. Yeah, I understand needing some space to not like say something you'd regret, but 3 days is excessive, especially when you are trying to get married in a really short period of time. That was odd on his end. You do have to admit. Josh asks her how she thinks Marshall would feel about them meeting up, and she says that she doesn't care. Guys, let me just say this. Jackie deserves the toxic love that she is going to get with this man because, wow, it is going to be her karma for the way that she is treating her fiance, especially out here on TV. And now, by the way, Jackie came out on Instagram lying, talking about, oh, like I wasn't in this coffee shop with Josh while Marshall was shooting the thing. He knew I had already broken up with him. Meanwhile, in this scene, he's definitely asking her how Marshall is going to feel about it because they're still in a relationship and everything. Like she is such a liar. She claims that she robbed herself for choosing to get engaged to Marshall instead of Josh. And I'm like, girl, you are no prize. If anything, Marshall robbed himself settling for you. She says that she chose wrong and she can see herself marrying Josh, but not anytime soon. She doesn't want to get married soon, which again, this is what I mean when I say that Marshall robbed himself choosing this girl, because what are you doing on Love is Blind if you can't see yourself getting married anytime soon? Like just exit stage left at this point because you were wasting everybody's time. They decide to be in a relationship and we saw online that they're still in a relationship. So it's been over a year that they have been together. And yeah, again, they both deserve each other at this point because they are just two toxic, unevolved people. They kiss on screen while Marshall is still at that soup place. And it's just horrible. Honestly, I don't know that we've seen anything worse than this on Love is Blind. This is just really, 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 really shocking, egregious behavior. As far as Marshall was concerned at this point, they were still engaged, so it's hurtful to see this play out behind his back. Now, the fact that, moving gears back to Kwame, the fact that the only person that Kwame brought to his fitting was a guy that he just met during this experiment tells me that he was never really serious about marrying Chelsea, and potentially not about the experience and experiment itself. Because what is that about? You don't have a best friend, you don't have a brother, you don't have a sister. Like, you're bringing someone that you just met as your one person. Weird, weird, weird red flag. It's just like the fact that he at this point has not had Chelsea meet anyone from his side. It's just odd. Now, Micah, I kind of was like, I feel bad for her when I see her friends. I'm like, Micah, you don't even know this girl is a fake friend sabotaging you and whatnot. Like, she brought that girl who hates Paul, and the girl couldn't even like stay positive. Yeah, she was nice about Micah's dresses and whatnot, but she was like, Micah, like, she's someone who, like, one day she likes something, the next she doesn't, or a person. And it's like, girl, not you, like, speaking ill onto her engagement and wedding and whatnot. Like, ugh, she just can't help herself. And I do not like that girl. Back to Kwame, Lord. So Kwame, at this point, he's talking to that guy he just met through this experiment about all the sacrifices he's making, like having to move to Seattle, the city that he signed up to get married in. Wow, poor baby. I can't hear this anymore. I'm over it. And people always say in my comments, well, Grace, like, they had to expand their search outside of Seattle to people. It's like, yeah, they did, but they expanded the search and told people that it's going to be in Seattle. So if you sign up for something outside of the scope, you should at least, at the very minimum, be prepared to move to Seattle. I know that Brett also lives in Portland, just like Kwame, and he's going to get to stay there because Tiffany's job is flexible to move up there. But these are things that you discuss prior to, and I'm sure that Kwame and Chelsea had these discussions. So I don't want to hear it with his sacrifice this, sacrifice that. Now, Chelsea. I'm sorry, but I find her style a little bit like gaudy or tacky. Like, I didn't love the pink pumps with her dress. I'm sorry. And then the giant earrings she wanted to wear, and then the blingy veil over a lace dress with those giant earrings, and then the pink pumps. All of it together was just, to me, it was a monstrosity. I'm sorry, I can't get into her style. It's just like I can't get into her apartment. Now, Bliss's dress was stunning, you guys. I thought that she looked like an absolute fairy princess. Like, that dress suited her so well. Now, back to a more sad kind of like side of things. We've got Marshall coming back home to his trifling fiance, Jackie, who just cheated on him at the local coffee shop with his arch nemesis, Joshua. So he is still wearing the outfit he was wearing at the fitting, but at this point, Jackie has changed clothes into sweatpants to get potentially the odor of her new man off of her, because they probably, rubbed up on each other or something like that. Like, he got his cologne on her, I bet. Maybe she even took a shower and everything just to get it all off. So he asked Jackie at this point why she accepted his proposal, and she claims that the outside world got to them. And I'm glad that Marshall was like, maybe got to you. You're not going to speak for me here. And I'm like, yes, I can't stand when people try to speak for you. Like, it didn't get to Marshall at all. What are you talking about? And so she does say that she was really upset that night after Chelsea's birthday when Marshall kept trying to push for a discussion before bed, when they were both like really like drunk and whatnot. And I said in my recap for that episode 9, the same thing. I was like, Marshall, you're pushing it a little too hard. You guys are drunk. It's not a good time. Just wait until the morning. Don't try to force a conversation on someone who's not ready to have that conversation. And then Jackie tells him that she can't give him what he wants. And he says that he never asked anything of her. And I'm like, well, Marshall, that's another problem. You're supposed to have standards in a relationship. Like, it's not charity work you're doing, expecting nothing in return. Like, you need to take a look at why you don't think you deserve anything in a relationship. You don't think you should ask for anything in a relationship, because that is unhealthy. It's not like some heroic thing. It's unhealthy. Maybe it's because she's the project and he doesn't expect anything from his project, who he's better than. I don't know. But that to me was a little bit alarming. But I digress. Now, you guys, Jackie says that she never got the soulmate feeling, like, the spark or anything like that with Marshall, and that she can't love him because she's attracted to Josh. And then she tells him that she just saw Josh and that there's chemistry. Now, remember, when Jackie was giving that statement on Instagram claiming that Love is Blind lied for ratings, let me pull it up for you guys, actually, because it's just full-blown ridiculous at this point, like the lengths that she's willing to go to lie. She says this. Okay, hang on. Let me pull up Jacquelina Bonds, Jacquelina Thumbelina Bonds, Instagram.com/Jacquelina Bonds. I hope I think she has a brother. I hope his name is James, because if you have a last name like Bonds and you do not, oh child, this girl don't block me, and you and you do not go ahead and make the most of it, then you have wasted it. So now you guys remember Jackie was pissed off about this one like review recap I did, so she did block me, but that's fine. I'm gonna pull up that like lying ass statement that she put out there to try and cover her ass. So what she said basically was that, Marshall and I were broken up before I saw Josh at the coffee shop. Then Jackie, why are you sitting here in front of Marshall in this episode talking about I just saw Josh, and he's talking about I just came home from the fitting to find out that you weren't there? Clocked. Is this why you're blocking me? Because I'm going to call out your lies, girl? Is that what it is? Oop, oop, oop. Lucky for me, I've got a personal Instagram account where I can pull up your lies and catch you in 4K. So let's go. Let's go. Right? Let me pull it up here for you guys so I don't have to just read it on my phone. So anyway, yeah, so that was the first lie. That was already clocked here. And then she says, I am wearing different clothes. Okay, yeah, but you got home. You changed from your nice, cute little cheating outfit to sweats to get the smell off this man off of you, I think. That's not uncommon. Marshall, meanwhile, is still wearing the exact same clothes that he was wearing at the fitting. So strike two. My hair is different. And at the end of the video, say, I don't know if I'm going to be with Josh. But you do also say that you just saw Josh. So, I'm not sure what the reason is for playing the coffee shop date before the breakup. But to restate, Marshall and I were broken up. That's not true. Before Josh and I had our coffee shop date. As for the ring, Marshall did not pay for the ring. Love is Blind paid for all the rings. And we're going to get into that because I do think Marshall was wrong for asking for the ring back. But there it is. Okay. She claims that, her version of events, let's just say, just does not add up. It's not true. Jacquelina Tambulina, you're lying, girl. And we clocked you. All you have to do is go back and watch the episode and see you out of your own mouth say that you just saw Josh as Marshall was asking you why you didn't show up to the wedding thing, to the bridal dress trying thing or whatever. So please. Anyway, she says that she never got the soulmate feeling. She can't love Marshall because she's attracted to Josh. And there's chemistry there. A lot of times people mistake the butterflies and the anxiety that a toxic person gives them for chemistry. So I think that that's what's going on there, but that's neither here nor there. Marshall is stunned by all of this, and I am heartbroken for him because it's got to be hard having your heart broken like this on television by a trifling Tammy. He tells Jackie that he wants the ring back, and she says that she's going to keep it. I'm like, girl, it is giving broke. It's giving I need to pawn this off, It wasn't a good look, but I am going to say here too, when Marshall said that he wanted the ring back, I was like, what the hell do you mean you want the ring back? It's not your ring. You didn't buy it. Like, it's not yours. It's not, so if Jackie wants to keep it, that's between her and production, but it has nothing to do with you because you did not come out of pocket for that ring. So I thought it was weird. And I thought it was more of a control thing that he wanted to get that ring back from her. And then she kind of stood her ground and said, no, it symbolizes some other thing. He goes, all right, well, if you're going to keep it, I want it to be a reminder of you losing out on this great guy and whatnot. She's like, all right, I don't see you that way, but okay. So she says, take it easy. Maybe I'll see you around. And Marshall responds with, no, you won't. I laughed. You know what I would have said? I don't hang out in the gutter, so you're not going to see me around. Because that's where Jackie and Josh are, in my humble opinion. They are just too to me. Jackie admitting, okay, so after this, she admits that she's crazy. She's like, listen, I'm crazy. Like, maybe I don't need to be with anyone. Maybe I need to just work on myself. And I'm like, yes, girl, thank you. Thank you. You do need to work on yourself because the way that you've behaved yourself on this show is nothing short of shameful. And now seeing you get on Instagram to lie to us, to straight up lie like this, please. I cannot wait for the live reunion because you're going to be clocked. Not only for this, but the text messages that she was sending, the homophobic text messages that she was sending, accusing Marshall of being low-key gay or whatever. Like that, she's going to have to answer for as well. And that's going to be quite juicy to watch. By the way, you guys, so a new set of episodes are dropping on Friday. I'm going to be in Geneva. And then And I think that's when the live drops. Like when the live drops, I'm going to be like in Geneva or NC or something like that. So I'm going to be a bit late on that, just an FYI. And I'm not going to be able to watch live. Damn it. I'm so upset about that. But what can you do? It's a girls' weekend I've had planned for months now. Now, okay, let's get into tacky ass Chelsea. I told y'all she was tacky. Some of y'all wanted to fight me on it, but I'm standing 10 toes down on that. 10 toes and 10 fingers, okay? This woman is tacky. So she's like, oh, I'm ready to do my engagement shoot. So I'm thinking, oh, they're going to be frolicking in the meadows or something like that. No, they're going to be stripped down to their damn underwear for engagement photos. Is that for the save the dates and stuff? Like in your underwear? Who wants to see your underwear? I don't want to see you guys' belly buttons on my save the dates. Like, that's so trashy. So the two of them, they wear, and I'm sorry, those underwear things they were wearing were so ugly on them. They were like neon yellow, which is not flattering on either one of them. Just plain weird, to be honest with you. And the whole, I actually fast forwarded the scene because it felt just so icky and just gross. Um, so they do debrief after the shoot, and Kwame willingly, I have to say, I have to highlight, he willingly compliments her for the first time. He calls her cute. I'm like, wow, he didn't need a prompt this time. We're getting somewhere. He says that he has never met someone that he wants to be with more than Chelsea, and that he loves her. And I'm like, oh my God, this might be a turning point. Kwame might actually say yes to marrying Chelsea. Like, I have never seen this before. Okay, so at this point, I'm putting them in the yes category. He tells her that he needs to talk to his mom, quote unquote, again, which I say quote unquote because, of course, he didn't actually talk to his mom the last time on the phone. But that for now, he doesn't think that she will be coming to the wedding. He talks about how strict his parents were about not dating until college. Child, get in line. All the African parents were like this. They are so crazy. And then once you're grown, they're like, where your man at? Where your woman at? It's like, what? I just got thrown out in the world, never allowed to date. Let me catch up to my peers, damn it. Yeah, so in his family as well, you're not allowed to be hunching before marriage. And he's like, yeah, my mom, she probably still thinks I'm a virgin because of these rules that she always had for me. I'm like, oh my God, some parents can be so willfully ignorant. It's crazy. He wants his mom's well wishes, even if she doesn't come to the wedding. So I'm like, okay, at least like he wants something that's at least realistic, right? Chelsea at this point asks if he's ready for marriage and whatnot in the wedding, and he says he loves her a lot, but there are still some cause for pause, and that's understandable. I feel like that's not like that in any relationship. At this point, Chelsea asks if he'd say yes without his mom's approval, and we get no response. Dun, 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 dun. Again, like I said in my episode 8 recap, if you can't say yes without mommy and daddy approving, you shouldn't be on the show, because this is an accelerated process and you need to either have your family on board or you have to be okay with your family not being on board. That should not be something that hinders the wedding, in my opinion. But yes, Tiffany, you guys, is in tears. Have you guys ever noticed that we don't really see Tiffany and Brett unless like someone's crying for them? I don't like that. I feel like producers only want chaos and stuff. And that's why you see like Kwame and Chelsea and their kind of messy relationship and whatnot. Zach and Bliss trying to come back from the second best situation. Jackie and Marshall. Like, I want to see more of these people in like more calming scenes. So anyway, she's in tears because she's overwhelmed by the stress of everything, wedding planning and whatnot. And Brett just holds her and lets her cry. And it was so beautiful. She almost feels like she doesn't want a wedding with how much drama it is to plan. I'm like, girl, I have always been team elopement or city hall wedding. Like the big production that people put on, to me, is just unnecessary stress and money down the drain. I'm cheap, y'all. I don't want to spend money like that. Now, Micah and Paul, at this point, they go out to this activity where they get to make their wedding bands together. And I loved it. You know what? It reminded me of that couple. Remember that couple from Love is Blind? They were both short. The girl had this luscious curly hair and whatnot. They did that together too before the man often cheated on her. But I like it. I think it's a really thoughtful idea, and it's definitely something that I would like to do. Oh, okay. So Kwame tries to call his mom again on the phone, and this time she sends him directly to voicemail. Oh my God, getting curved by your mom on TV, Jesus. So then he decides to just go ahead and call his brother instead. And his brother gave him some really good advice about how he needs to just go ahead and make this decision for himself, do what's right for himself. And I really like that for him. Back to Brett and Tiffany. Brett was being super duper thoughtful because, Tiffany is super overwhelmed with like the wedding planning and whatnot. And so he decides to organize this little plane date where they fly this small plane to this like spot where he set up like a romantic set of photos of her happy with her engagement ring and stuff. You know what was really special to me? Learning that Brett took those photos of Tiffany. I'm like, wow, you are so dope, Brett. Like, oh my God, I really like him. He just has such a beautiful heart. He's so thoughtful. Like, I just want everything for these two. I love them. I really do. And then they have a romantic dinner with champagne and whatnot, just talking about their love for one another. And I don't know, I just loved it. I do wonder, though, at this point, why we haven't seen Brett and Tiffany meeting each other's family. We have seen them meeting each other's friends, but I guess family is the final boss. That's going to happen soon. But yeah, I am waiting for that because you know what? We saw Tiffany's mom. She brought her wedding dress shopping. So like she at least approves of this in some capacity, right? But I want to see Brett meet the mom at least. Now, guys, oh my God, how painful was it watching Zach meet Bliss's dad and like step siblings and stepmom? Like, oh Lord have mercy. I'm sorry, Bliss, but your dad is a douche. Like, he was so rude. It's one thing to not agree with what they're doing, but it's another to straight up undermine them, talk over your own daughter, and just act like a condescending prick. Like it made me really uncomfortable. He was rude. And you know what the gag is? Talking about, oh, people don't take marriage seriously anymore. Yeah. Dude, you're divorced. You're the only divorced one here. Get out of here. Even those kids aren't divorced, and you are. So get out. Come on now, like read the room. So by the way, before anyone leaves any comments about Bliss's little sister wearing the glasses, she just had her eyes dilated and that's why she chose to wear the glasses. So let's not go in on that, please and thank you. The dad asked Zach if he goes fishing or if he plays golf. Zach does neither of those things, which, listen, I don't think it's all that shocking. It's not that popular of an activity in certain areas or with certain demographics. So whatever, I'm sure Zach does other things, right? In his downtime. He does try to connect with Bliss's father by talking about, the law and his passion for it. And I was fascinated by his fun facts and his position on how, like, sometimes the law hinders the economy and people from being able to do their work, like with those, like, driving things, suspended licenses. But the dad was really rude, dismissive, and not at all engaged in the conversation. And I genuinely felt bad for Zach. I don't like people like that who don't try to make you feel comfortable. In fact, they almost get off on making you feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like superiority thing. And it's just not for me, okay? He just seemed so bored by the whole meeting and whatnot. And yeah. I don't know. It felt like it really triggered Zach because I saw him staring a lot. Like, I know people have been saying that like some of his staring reactions and whatnot are like hints of this or that, but like I really saw it in this episode. I was like, okay, yeah, I think like sometimes when he's stressed and nervous, that's like a tick for him where he will just stare, and he really stared, and I'm like, okay, I get it. He's nervous. Now, the dad, who already was so arrogant and dismissive and condescending, starts laughing about their situation, their engagement and stuff. And it was just so weird. Like, he feels like he was almost just like bullying his own daughter, like he gets off on belittling her and her decisions. And he then gets into a story about how his older sister married a guy who worked for him. Then he fired the guy and their relationship didn't work out. It's like, do you just not want your daughters to get married and stuff? Because there are some parents like that, right? There are some dads who are like weirdly possessive over their daughters. And so if the daughter gets married to someone or whatever, he hates him because that's my little girl. And some moms are like that, right? Where they're like emotional incest with their sons. I'm like, is that what you're on? Because why would you fire your daughter for falling in love with someone at work? How many people fall in love at work? I don't think it's a good idea, but it happens when people get married to their coworkers. So why would you fire the man and he's in a relationship with your daughter? And shouldn't he be making money for his family? Just weird. I don't know. I don't like him. Now, he then condescendingly says that you have to let intelligence play a factor in decision making. So hopefully they're making the right choice. Hope you're happy, but don't fool yourself. Just a lot of really passive aggressive things. He also says that he's not sure yet. Has it been verified that Zach is a lawyer? Just a bunch of stuff where it's like, oh God, he's like, don't fool yourself, thinking that it's going to work, getting married after 20 days of knowing this guy. I was like, listen, I am happy that they did not tell him about Irina, because that would have totally sent him over the edge, right? Like, thank God they kept that to themselves. And I do also want to say congratulations to you, Bliss. Like, you've obviously done a lot of healing when it comes to your toxic father, and just like working on holding your own. She really held her own respectfully in that conversation anytime he tried to cut her off. And I love that. Zach does excuse himself to go to the washroom. And Bliss says that she loves him. And her dad sarcastically laughs and goes, huh, all right. Like, it was awful, you know? He tells her that she's getting married just for the sake of getting married. And obviously that's quite hurtful. He tells us, not Bliss, that Zach can't match her or keep up with her and whatnot. And then we do see her stepmom crying over the tension. I'm like, you know, I can't even imagine what this woman deals with when it comes to this man. Just like speaking over people, acting like his opinion is Bible. Like, it's just a lot of ick to me, but I digress. Guys, what did you think of this episode? How raggedy was it for Jackie to cheat on Marshall on the show like that? Like, wow, how shocking. What did you think about Brett's really romantic, like, private plane dinner date with Tiffany? How did you feel about Zach, Bliss, and Bliss's dad, that trio? You know what I noticed? We didn't get any Paul and Mike. No, we only got one scene of Paul and Micah. So it seems like they're doing well. They're not kind of like dramatic enough to make more of a splash in this episode. And how do you feel about Kwame and the situation with his mom? Will he say yes despite his mom, or is that going to be a reason for him to say no? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.